Welcome to your A to Z guide to the 2023 Canadian Grand Prix. Formula One heads north for this weekend as round 8 of the championship hits the iconic Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. One of F1's oldest tracks and a fan favorite location, this weekend should be quite the exciting on-track action with teams bringing upgrades, wet weather possibly in effect, and much more. That's why we're here to give you the full preview and all the info you need to know ahead of lights out. So let's not waste any more time and get right into your preview for our home race, the Canadian Grand Prix. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is a semi-temporary track situated on the man-made island of the Ile Notre Dame. The 4.3-kilometer circuit looks simple in its layout, but the 14 corners are filled with challenges and dangers. This circuit is comparable to the Baku City track in that it has long straights that require low drag and is punctuated by many slow-speed corners and chicanes that require downforce. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is traditionally regarded as tough on brakes, as drivers will put roughly 930 kilos of load into the brake pedal per lap. The characteristics of this track make it quite overtake friendly, with drivers getting the best chances going into turn 1, the hairpin at turn 10, and the wall of champions at turn 13. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is iconic amongst Formula One fans and drivers, and has been around since 1978, with F1 hosting 41 Grand Prix events. It is named after Canadian legend and former Ferrari driver Gilles Villeneuve, and the great memories at Montreal are endless. Ferrari is still the most successful constructor in Montreal, having won 11 races in total for 27% of the victories. McLaren are not far behind with 9 wins of their own, and then Williams and Mercedes round out the top 4. Out of the current drivers on the grid, only 3 have tasted victory in Canada, with Lewis Hamilton dominating the way at 7 career wins. Max Verstappen won his first Canadian GP last year, and Fernando Alonso also has a lone victory in Montreal. In terms of grid position, the most successful by far is pole position, as 51% of race winners have won from the first place. Interestingly enough, more drivers have won from outside of the top 3 than from second place on the grid. And finally, the chances of seeing a safety car deployment around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is around 36%. This track makes race strategy one of the hardest to predict thanks to its unforgiving nature and also the weather factor. With Pirelli's softest compounds on hand for the weekend, we should see the C3 and C4 to be the favored race tire if it stays dry. With no high-speed corners, traction and stability are key around here, and tire wear can typically be quite high in Montreal thanks to this. The strategy preferred by most drivers in 2022 was a 2-stop, but some opted for a 1-stopper with a very long initial stint on the hard, especially those starting close to the back. The average time taken for a pit stop is 18.5 seconds, despite more than 400 meters of pit lane. Drivers coming into the pits cut through the last chicane and skip the first corner, with the pit exit already in turn 2. The track conditions can change rapidly, however, going from dry to wet and hot to cool overnight, which could be a major influence on performance in the race on Sunday. Here are the session start times for practice, qualifying, and the race. Let's start the weekend notes by looking at the projected weather forecast for Montreal. The outlook for the Grand Prix weekend isn't looking too good for the fans in attendance, with rain in the forecast for all 3 days. The chance of precipitation is relatively high for each day, and also cool air temperatures as well are expected. Moving on to tires, Pirelli bring the C3, C4, and C5 compounds to Montreal. Track evolution is quite high on this circuit, but the asphalt has very low grip. But with the weather outlook, the slicks might get pushed aside in favor of the grooved, wet tires. Well, that will do it for this week's race preview. We hope you enjoy the Grand Prix, and if you happen to be trackside in Montreal, tag us in your posts or stories on Instagram with our handle @BMF1Show. You can find all the details and links in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.